Heights, spiders, closed spaces. Today we are talking about the origin of fear and how sin is just fear with no faith. All right, welcome back to another episode of Hair Hair Spiritual Sundays. We are going to be talking about the origin of fear, and then we're going to talk about how it branches out, how it makes it. Thank you guys so much. I'm so excited about this year, and I just feel like we are truly surpassing everything. Like, we're surpassing everything. I didn't think anybody was going to watch my content, but I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget to leave comments. I definitely want this to be more interactive, but watching is enough for me that you guys are actually watching it. So coming in at number 5 is adultery is the fear of acceptance. So, and the fact that there's fear of no higher power. So adultery in its essence, adultery is basically when you feel as though this thing is more important than God. Now, people always think adultery is this, I don't know how to describe it. Like, people always think that adultery is this, it's not as aggressive because it's like, okay, well, when I wake up in the morning, I want to check social media. That's not a bad thing, right? So you need to understand that in that same aspect, you're essentially making this social media your idol. You're making anything that you put above, like, is very much, it's all the above. Like, which one of these options, if they had a multiple choice test, and it was like, which one of these is a version of adultery? I was like, oh, a golden calf, yes. You putting your man and your girl in front of God. That's number 2. Like, you making sure that you have crystals or any type of horoscopes. That's number 3. Those are all the above. And there are certain things that I didn't know that was a form of adultery. I didn't know adultery was your job. Because I was notorious for, like, I'm trying to make money. What you talking about? How is that a form of adultery? I'm just trying to make money so I can, I was like, what is the issue? But that's also a form of adultery as well, as putting your job too high, and then putting your partner as well. Like, once you get a partner, you already know, I have this happen so many times. As soon as my friend gets a partner, I will never see this person again. I will never see this person again. So that's also adultery. You can put adultery for your kids as well. And some of these boy moms, girl dads that go too far, it's like, this is my first love. God is your first love. I don't understand, but that's definitely a form of fear, is that. So the next one is lust. So lust is actually a fear of loneliness. Lust is also a fear of no level of connection. And my thing is that lust, to me, I've always thought of lust as this, once again, like this aggressive thing, like, I have to have this person right now, and lust can be something simple as, like, oh, I lust for money. I lust for, like, sometimes there's bloodlust. You lust for violence. So there's a couple of ones that I was just like, dang, like, I didn't know that fell into that category. Like, I guess lust and lust accessories, if y'all watched King of the Hill. But it's just, to me, I just feel like I didn't know that fear was behind everything. And in a way, like, connectedness, you want to feel that level, or as well as, it's the fear is such a powerful emotion because it is the catalyst to most of our emotions. Think about it, and we'll go about that in the next one. But think about just like your fear of not having that connection with anybody, or not having anybody to have in contact. So of course you're gonna want to with yourself because, like, there's no one nearby. Or fear of loneliness. Sometimes it's something to keep you occupied. Sometimes it's something to, as well, something to keep you occupied, something to keep you connected to other people. Because when you have you have to, just in case my niece finds this video, when you just in case that, oh dang, I need a lot of women around. That's why you'll see a lot of men that sometimes, I know it sounds weird, but maybe I'm just good at reading energies, but sometimes I'll see people and I'll be like, I don't even think you want to be a playboy. I don't even think you want to be a playgirl, but it's that fear of no connection, that fear of, sometimes it also goes into the fear of, I want to say desperation, but just having that level where you don't know whether or not you'll be able to have a connection with people outside of that. That's why you'll have a lot of women and men do it as well too, but a lot more prone to women since we're more emotional creatures. And we'll have it where we're just like, okay, well, the only time I can get a hug is when, you know, so I feel like that level, that's where the lust comes up, and it's never enough. The thing about this lust demon, we talked about him before, or them. It seems like it would be both genders. We talked about this lust demon before, and it's never hungry enough. That's why so many of these, and I've said this as well, as like so many of these celebrities are so tricked out. Like the regular thing does not work. When you had so much of the same thing, the regular things don't do it. You've seen that whole Rico case with so many of these celebrities have been spoken about, but definitely for sure. The next one is anger. Anger is actually fear of preservation. Now, this one, this one's for me. Like, I feel like when it comes to anger, I'm really good at it. And it's not something to be proud about. What I mean that I'm really good at is that I'm notorious for being like, oh, I'm not angry about this, but I'm actually furious about it. That's where the cursing came from. Like, I'm really mad about, I'm in traffic, cut me off, traffic is where Orlando and Tampa fight out to see who's the worst driver. So that's where a lot of the anger would come out. And then also too, it's just breaking it down. Like, what are you really angry about? So there would be plenty of times where at work, there have been times at work where I get angry about certain things because it's not working. I was like, my fear is that I'm not going to do my job well. My fear is that I'm going to lose my job. My fear is that they're going to think I'm dumb. You know, you have to think about it. Don't think of anger as like this big, like don't think of anger like this big thing. Like, think of anger. The way I like to think of, the way I think of anger is I think of anger as something similar to, it's just fear with like a hard shell on the outside. Like anybody who's ever been angry at you, like there's been plenty of times where, like, when I was younger, my parents would get mad at me for doing something that could hurt myself. They're afraid that they're gonna lose me. Now, baby boomers don't have the emotional capacity to explain that. They just start yelling at you. But if you try to explain yourself, there's been plenty of times with my niece as well, that she was crossing the road and I yelled at her and she was like, you never yelled at me before. I was just like, because you never risked your life before. They can't see you out here. And that's exactly what I said. I was just like, I'm not gonna apologize. Now I stay apologizing because to me, I feel like it heals so much. But I told her directly, I was like, I'm not gonna apologize. I'm not gonna apologize to you because the fact that this could have really took a turn, and no one, and these, like I said, these cars, especially in Florida, like these people who drive these cars, like, you have to understand they do not care about you. Okay, they don't. And so if they see a little 8-year-old, somebody across the street, they'll do their best to stop, but she's gonna remember that. But like I said, like, that's the origin of anger. It's just that there's fear behind it. Think about that. I'm gonna let you think about this. That's gonna be your homework today. Then the next time you get really mad about something, I bet you fear is in the middle of that. Like, that's why so much, that's why a lot of people don't understand that anger, whenever I see somebody's mad, I'm just like, I like to break it down. Okay, I like to break it down. So just think about it the next time. I want you to do a little experiment, because once I started identifying that fear was at the root of it, it was just like, oh, okay, I'm not really mad about that. I'm just scared about A, B, and C. Okay, so the next one is I was like, I'm trying to think of the word. The word is stealing. So this is actually the fear of lack or the fear of plentiful. So my thing is, when it comes to stealing, okay, and stealing is not, like I said, we always think aggressive. We always think of anger, but stealing is not what you think. You can steal somebody's smile, you can steal somebody's energy because you don't feel it. There's been plenty of times where I've worked at jobs before and I come in all bright and sunny. Like, you can look at all my baby pictures. Every picture, I've been smiling since 1991. Like, even when I had no teeth, like my mom said I was a happy baby. I guess nothing has changed. But a lot of people will try to steal your joy because they feel like they can't get that. A lot of people will try to physically steal yourself because they can't get that, because there's plenty of times where like there's plenty of times where I feel like there has been a situation where someone has come in and stole something and they feel like they can't get it themselves. You have to understand, it's just that you have to think of God as a plentiful God. He got more in the back. You know how like when you go to Footloose, when you go to Foot Locker, and I'm just like, do you have women's size 11? They're like, no, we don't have it. That's not God. God got plenty of them in the back. He got size 12. He got size 13. He got so many shoes back there. You need to think of that, because a lot of people have this way too. They'll also try to steal your attention if they feel like you're getting attention that they feel like they could never get. There's been plenty of time, for example, something as minute as, for example, I pretty much told everybody when I got the house, and I was like, I told everybody when I got the house, and there was different responses. There was like, oh my goodness, congrats, and blah blah blah, and then there was other responses that were basically like, oh, how big is the house? How many rooms does it have? Like, it wasn't curious. It was more like, I'm trying to steal this moment from you because I feel like I'm never going to get a house, and you need to think He is a plentiful God. That's where the desperation comes, because a lot of women, no offense, men do it too, but a lot of these women are proud sisters of the side chick of the side chick brigade, and it's sad because they feel like they could never get their own man. I was like, did you ever try doing it yourself? Like, there's been plenty of times where I've seen people get mad at me, or they get mad or upset with me because they feel like I'm stealing any possibility of anything that they have. I was like, if you put that same energy, this is back to King Saul and David. You worried about David who's a shepherd boy who defeated a giant, but you forgot you were king. Saul was a whole king, and he let his ego and the fact that he thinks that God is not a merciful God, a plentiful God that could give them both a chance. Like, he was so whack for that. So I can't wait to go down that story, but I just want to let you know that's where stealing comes from. So coming in at number 1 is, I would say coming in at number 1, to me, the worst is hate. So hate is the fear of no love. And I know that sounds really weird, because people are gonna be like, well, you know, people have done heinous things from being hateful. And the reason why I say this is because of the fact that as someone who's a person of color, there's something so like it makes me so sad. Not from the insults. Like, I'm used to getting insults. I'm 5'10", I'm decent looking. Trust me, they hating bad over here. I'm not worried about that. It's the fact that you're missing out. Like, I have so many friends of different ethnic backgrounds and different backgrounds in general, and it's such a breath of fresh air to, I don't know, trade secrets, but it's so cool learning about like their like how they do life. It's so cool, and I feel like you miss out on that. You miss out on having that knowledge, just truly, you haven't lived life until you have a friend who does not look like you. You have not lived life yet. Like, just being able to know how they do life, it's so cool. But I truly feel like hate is the fear of no love. And think about it. Whenever somebody says, oh, like, fear of no love, like, this person's not gonna love me, or I'm not gonna get the love of my parents. Because sometimes some people perpetuate hate because their parents it's kind of like a custom. So if you don't do this now, I can't get the love. It's a fear of no love. It's the fact that you're afraid that this person is not going to give you any love of any kind. I'm gonna go through in a little bit and talk about the Bible verses. I'm sorry, I left them. I was supposed to do them throughout the video, but I was on a roll, baby. But definitely, for sure, with hate, that's why they always say that hate is opposite of love is indifference. Is actually not hate. Hate means that means there was love at that origin at one point, and I truly believe that. Like, not just for I can't say it, I have to do the ventriloquist voice for it, but even with that aspect, just in general, when people say, oh, I hate that thing, or I hate that, I was like, think about the origin. The origin is a fear of no love. So if you look back and think about, dang, like I'm afraid that if I like this thing, everybody in my family is not going to love me anymore. There's plenty of times that of where, oh, I hate my kids' choices because everybody else around me. It's an environmental community acceptance. So you definitely want to check into that. So I have a couple of Bible verses. I'm so sorry I left them at the end. So I have on here 2 Timothy verse 1, for God gave us a spirit of love, not fear. I'm not trying to brag, but I feel like he gave me too much. I feel like sometimes I do feel like he gave me too much love. Like I was like, I think you gave my spirit has too much love in it. And the reason why that is that it's very hard for me to do boundaries, because I always think with love first. I don't ever think this person's going to do me wrong, or this person is, but definitely having those boundaries makes up for later in life. Helps you later in life, but definitely for sure, like sometimes I feel like he gave me so much, because like, why you give me all this love? Because they do not be receptive. Humans are naturally selfish. Like we so selfish, and to have somebody who has naturally love, like that's why when I see my fellow people who are, that's when I see my fellow people who love just that's just their default setting. I'm always afraid for them, and I'm just like, just come be my friend, because I will take care of you. Okay, I know what time it is, because I've seen so many times where people who like their spirit is just full of love, and it will be taken advantage of. You will be used. Okay, that's just human nature. That's why their boundaries. That's why Jesus was flipping tables, because they were just they forgot what time it is. They forgot what time it is. I have on here too. I have on here too, Psalm 37 verse 8. Do not fret; it only leads to evil. And honestly, fear has led more people down a bad path than evil feelings have. It really than anger has. Fear has led more people to evilness than anger has. And the reason why that is because fear is the origin of anger. Remember, we learned about that today. And I do feel like that is because, think about it. How many times you've seen parents where they're just like, oh, I'm afraid that my kid's not going to be able to make it through this, so let me smother them. And then it ends up getting to the point where they're holding their kid hostage. You've seen Lifetime. That's every Lifetime movie. They're holding their kid hostage, or they're getting to the point where they're really mean to their kid because they're afraid that they're not going to be accepted by others. So it's just, to me, I feel like in that aspect, it does lead to evil. It's the same thing too. There's plenty of women and men who end up be like, oh, I want to put my kid through this sport and this and other, and they keep taking a turn, twisting things, cheating so they can win, or worse, other evil things that they've done before, just out of fear of their kid not being able to make money or them not make bills. So I have this other verse too. It's just that Psalm 37:13, the Lord laughs at the wicked because their day is coming. Now, the reason why this ties in with fear is the fact that I had a fear that God don't be godding other people, okay? Like, I'd be like, am I your only kid? Like, at one point, because other people are allowed. This is another thing too. It's like sometimes I feel like other people are allowed to sin more than me, because I'm just like, I'm sorry, do you not see them sinning over there? Like, I know you got 4K in heaven. I know you see that. I know you see them doing that. Okay. But I also, what gives me the conviction is just that he's seen my sins as well. And he's still like, I'm going to bless her. Like, honestly, if I look back when I was sinning the most, like I was just drinking, doing whatever, I would say between 2017 to 2019, before the pandemic, I was sinning the most, fam. Like, I was like, ABC, let me sin AD, I was sinning the most. And that's when I got my most blessings. Like, I was one-bedroom apartment, a higher paying job, car. He was blessing me when I was sinning the most. And it's really terrifying, because the fact that with this Bible verse, he laughs because he laughs at the wicked because their day is coming. I don't want to be the people he laughing at. I want to be the person he laughing with. Okay. So what I mean by that is just knowing, do not let fear take you to that point, because it is definitely a sin to judge others, you know. So my fear that he wasn't guarding them, like he'd be guarding me, right? And I don't know, that fear definitely took me a while to get past, but you have to walk in faith. Like I said, with 2 Timothy 1, you know, like he gave it a spirit of love and not fear, definitely not of hate. But don't forget to subscribe and share. It's Claire here.